So till last video we discussed all about axial skeleton. Today we are going with the appendicular skeleton. Appendicular skeleton. So if we just go with the introduction, our axial was everything in the middle, the central axis, everything in that. Appendicular is again divided into two more parts. What are these? First one called as limbs. This means in this one we'll see our legs, hands, these all. Here we have girdles. So limbs are like arms and legs. Altogether we have around 60 bones in the arms, 60 in the legs, like both. Between two here, two here. Then in the girdles we have two. First one called as pectoral. Second one called as a pelvic. Pelvic we have around two, and in pectoral we have around four. So yes, this is a basic introduction, the main things about appendicular. I hope it would be like very much clear. Then comes the main, like the next part, which is about their structure and everything. So in pectoral girdle, now we are going to detail it. Like pectoral have 4 bones, right? So let's go with the pectoral now. Pectoral girdle. We know here we have around 4 bones, right? As I mentioned. So again, this is divided into two more parts. What are these? First one called as scapula. Second one called these are two in number. Second one called as clavicle. Clavicle is also called as a beauty bone. People love to show it, and it's present near the shoulders. So we have these two, right? So if I just tell you more about these both. Okay, so here scapula is simply kind of triangular flat like bone. Triangular flat like bone. This is present on the dorsal side. Right, then if I just make it a small picture so that you understand it, it's simply this kind of structure. So this is basically a structure. Here this region called as acromion process, right? I hope it will be clear. Then we have clavicle, what we'll see in this one. So a clavicle, which is simply a chloral bone or beauty bone. Beauty bone. So how is that present? Is simple one clavicle over here, one over here, then down it goes a structure of sternum, then covered by the ribs, and like everything like that. So these bones are basically clavicle. I hope it would be like very much clear. Then let's make after clavicle, let's make it out our another structure. The diagram shows here. So scapula and clavicle, you can make it understand right now. Even clavicle is this one bone, a beauty bone, or this like a structure. Scapula is this triangular flat like a structure called a scapula, right? So these both bones are present right to the shoulders. Then from that scapula our limbs arrive, limbs of our hands, right? Limbs of arm, around 60 bones we have present, as we know. So if I just make it a structure, you will get it like very much clear. Okay, so here's the main structure I'm going to make it. First one kind of structure. This is structure. Then again here's other bone. Then here we have different structures like these. Carpals. These are metacarpals. Here we have phalanges. Phalanges, you might have seen in our that bone in our hand. We have three more small like structure, and in thumb we have only two, right? Here we have around two. So what is this? Let's check it out. Let's label it. This is basically our entire diagram. Okay, so first one, this kind of curve that's called as Corcoid process. Corcoid process. Here, this cavity where these are located, like these are embedded, this is another kind of cavity. This cavity is named as glenoid cavity. Then this one, single one bone, this called as a okay. This one called as a humerus, which is one in number, right? Then here the joint between this. Here we have different. That's called as synovial joint. We have different types of joint, like our next video hopefully for that. There is synovial joint, these three, cartilaginous, fibrous, synovial, these three joints. Then after the structure, what you'll see, okay, so here this one bone basically called as radius, and this is a small structure called as ulna, right? After that, what you'll see, these three different, so I'm making ulna and radius on that side. This is called a uvula, this is called as radius. Then these structures, so this structure basically called as carpals. This structure called as metacarpals. Carpals are around 8 in number, metacarpals are 5 in number, and here these last called as phalanges. Phalanges are around 14 in number. So when we just count these all bones, basically we'll get 30 bones here in these arms, because ulna and radius, these both are 1 in number. Okay, here's uvula 1, radius even 1. This joints, these all things, this is entire structure. I hope it will be like very much clear. Now let's read it out. Okay, so here if you see, we have humerus, this is radius, this is ulna. Here we have another thing. Okay, let me add picture again. So here this is the structure, what you will see, this is radius, this is ulna. We have these carpals, metacarpals, phalanges, these all structures. So let's read it out. Appendicular skeleton, which is consists of, altogether we have around 126 bones in appendicular skeleton. The division of a skeleton is into pelvic and pectoral girdle. They're associated with the bones as we mentioned. So pectoral girdle and forelimb bones. Pectoral girdle, which provide structural support to the upper region of the body. So yes, it's a bone. Then the total number of bones associated with the pectoral are 64. So 64 bones are present with that, and both sides, which have two clavicle and two scapula, which we discussed on the both side, of course. Then there is anterior limb, which is arm bone associated with the girdle. So humerus, two radius, two ulna. Like in, I have just told you about the one. Otherwise, if you continue the same structure with the second one, you will find same. So this means 30 only present the one bone, 30 in the neck, so 60 in one. So 2 humerus, 2 radius, 2 ulna, 16 carpals, 10 metacarpals, and 28 phalanges. So yes, this is all about like appendicular skeleton. So if you yourself even count it out, you'll get this bone. These are the cavity which are not mentioned in the book as a exceptional. Even I did not label this. This is called a scapula. And here another kind of bone continues. This bone basically called as That's called as a clavicle, which is beauty bone. So entire structure, this one. I hope it would be like very much clear. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.